What's up there, YouTube? This is What is Doozy 1929 here with another fine episode of GTA Autos, and welcome to the Pacific Bluffs of Los Santos. I am liking the view of everything. The sun is out. It's really nice out here, and as you can tell, I'm in a beach outfit. So what are we doing here, if you're wondering? Let me start to say that we're out here to talk about something interesting. To many people, it's not an interesting car, but to me, it's really interesting. It's this beauty right here. This is the BF Surfer. The BF Surfer is a cool car. Van to be exact. The BF Surfer is based off one of the world's most iconic vehicles to ever hit the streets, and that is the VW Samba, the VW bus, micro bus, the Combi. There's so many ways to say this vehicle. It's been a popular vehicle ever since it was first introduced in 1949. Let's start with the BF Surfer before I get into a long, boring history tale of the VW bus. Let's see. The BF Surfer has been actually its first time being on here, but it's been here since actually Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, but it was actually named the camper. So I guess on here they just decided to change the name. The camper, of course, is still on here, but it's not based off a VW bus. It's just based off a Winnebago or RV. So, yeah, the BF Surfer is just a cool little cruiser. Let's just say it like this: it's not made for racing. Okay, this thing is pretty slow. It can barely climb up hills. This thing can barely climb up little inclines in the streets that you would cruise around the state of San Andreas. So let me give you an example. If you're going over to Rockford Hills and you got one of those houses up in the hills and you drive this thing, it's going to take you forever to climb the hills in that thing, because I remember driving this thing and it literally struggled to climb up those damn hills. So let's get back to the VW Transporter. Now, I might be a car expert, but there's some cars that I'm not always used to seeing around. This is one of them. So I only know a handful of stuff about the VW Transporter. Its production name is the Type 2. Now, this was along with the VW Beetle. Now, Volkswagen was just a simple little car company. Basically, had an evil past. Starting with the Beetle, Ferdinand Porsche, the founder of Volkswagen. Of course, if you're recognizing the name Porsche, that's of course the same guy who started Porsche. Porsche and Volkswagen, they're technically the same car if you just look at them. But the classical ones, they're technically the same car. If you compare a Volkswagen Beetle to a Porsche 911 back in the 60s or 50s, they basically would have the same kind of engine cues, but a little bit detuned. I mean, just look it up in the history books. Yeah. The Volkswagen Beetle basically had a evil past. Ferdinand Porsche was actually commissioned by Hitler to make a car that was affordable, that for the people to drive around. The name Volkswagen is actually German for people's car, Volkswagen. So the Beetle was the first, and then the Transporter came along. Transporter, the Type 2. It was basically the beginning of the beginning of the first generation of minivans. Of course, the minivan didn't start until the 80s, but the Volkswagen Microbus, or the Transporter, is basically the first minivan. It was affordable, it was cheap, it had many barrages of models. You had the deluxe model, which came with about over 20 windows. Now, keep in mind, the VW Transporter is very iconic, but there's so many different variants of this beautiful car. You had the panel van, was basically used to transport goods, like let's say a little company or maybe a pizza shop. You want to transport stuff. going to transport their goods and stuff. You had the microbus, which of course is um, the civilian version, which of course everybody probably owned. And then you had the pickup, which is basically the VW transporter, but this time it had a cab in the back, a bed in the back, basically. So this thing was made to do some work. And then you also had other variants, like you had a fire truck version, you had an ambulance, you had a hearse. These things were basically made for work, and they've just been in production for a very long time. They were at one point they were one of the oldest production vehicles to still be in production. Everybody doesn't know that the VW Transporter bus was actually still in production, but it was just in production in different countries. Um, the last VW Transporter was made in 2013, around November, and that's when the last time they made that particular model. But I think they got another transporter bus. I don't know, but yeah, it's been in production ever since 1949, and of course, it ceased production in 2013. So it had a very glorious long run. So let's take a cruise in this wonderful car so we can show you what's going on here. So this thing is basically just basic. I hate the interior because it does not match this outsiding, but I guarantee you probably the 90s and the 80s ones probably had looked like this, but this is a wrong interior choice. Now this thing might have 4 doors, but it can only carry 2 people because there's no seats in the back. Real stupid. I hate the interior of this thing. Now the performance is, like I said, terrible. It's slow, but that's what you expect. The original VW bus had a 1.2 liter L engine. I don't know how you would say it, but it was basically a 1.1 L B4 petrol engine. They were all 1 point something. They were all 1 liter engines, so they weren't very powerful. They were never very powerful. 0 to 60, eventually, if it hit 60. This thing barely could hit 60. Matter of fact, I don't even think the top speed of this thing is 60. But if you want to get this thing to 60, then you probably would have to push this thing off a cliff. So wouldn't recommend racing in it. It's pretty slow. It's basically a cruiser. So if you want to just cruise around Los Santos in this thing, I recommend like in an invite-only session, because you will eventually get blown up or followed by a lot of people on here. Trust me, there's a lot of rude people on here. So right now we're on the sand, so of course it's going to drop the performance down very slow. But handling, yeah, you can basically see where it's going on. So yeah. So we're going to stop right here, basically, because we got a really nice view of the sunset. And I'm going to basically open up everything to show you what this thing has. Now, this thing might have 2 seats in it, but the back doors, of course, they're going to open. Now, surprisingly, the engine is not right there, so because the VW bus originally, the engine would be right there where that that door is, right there between the taillights. It would be right there, but surprisingly, Rockstar has not put the engine in there. Of course, the engine's not in the front, so it's in the back. So, I would say, yeah, it has no engine in it. That's weird. Now, like I said, it doesn't have any doors. I mean, it doesn't have any seats. This thing, it wasn't meant for people to ride in the back, so yeah, it's a floating little button right there. Yay. Remote. See if we can turn it on. Not very powerful. Nothing too special. Let's see if we can close everything up. Now, dropping off of this because I'm done talking about this thing. It's just really cool. The scale of 1 to 10 on the style, I give it an 8 because the interior does not match. Performance 1. Automatic 1 is very slow. Style, charisma 10. It's just based off of an iconic vehicle in history. I mean, this thing's really cool. In my eyes, it really is cool. Now, there's different types of this thing. Surprisingly, I found the one with the surfboard on top, but there's other ones that are without the surfboard. These things are, the restored ones are kind of a little bit hard to find, but I know a few areas where you can see them. The beat up ones you can find up there in Sandy Shores around the country area, but sometimes you will see them driven by pedestrians on the street or on the highway. But I know there's one area, matter of fact, let's see if we can pull it up, right around this Los Santos Customs over here by the airport. In this particular area, there sometimes will be a BF surfer hanging around in this generic area. So it is on the online. Actually, they put it online last year for sale, and I think it's marketed for $11,000. So this thing is basically, oh yeah, it was released for the hipster update. Top speed is terrible. If you're looking to be to bang freshman haul surfboards and run weed across the border, this is the camper for you. Memberships to an elite group of dropouts, degenerates, and dudes stuck in the past is only a few $1,000 away. So this thing is quite affordable to get. Is it worth buying? I would not recommend buying it. If I was you, I'd just find it on the street. You have better luck just finding one on the street. But if you desperately need this thing in your collection just to have around in your garage, then yeah, I would recommend having it. Now, I'm glad I actually did it I'm glad I actually did this commentary on this car in this particular area, because we just witnessed a nice sunset. So, okay. One more thing I have to say, then this is not about to be a surfer, but I just saw that I got 2 people watching and two comments. Now, I don't know how to read those from here, so I'm gonna try to fumble around and see how I can do this, but I need to see, how do you do this? Oh, there it is. I'm here, Alex. Wow. Okay. I'm glad I got people watching. So, hopefully I get more people watching. I get more of these little comments, and I'm glad I got people watching, and I got them. Hopefully this show really does take on, because right now I'm just starting off. I got a few subscribers, so mention me to your friends who play Grand Theft Auto if they want to learn about the history and whatnots of these type of cars on here. I like giving out information about these cars. Trust me, I got a lot of friends who always wonder, what car is this? What car is this based off of? What car is this based off? I always like to give them information of what cars to get, what cars not to get. But if you like, please just share this video with your friends if they play Grand Theft Auto. Share them with people who are interested in cars, who like hearing history of cars, who likes Grand Theft Auto. Basically, anyone who's a car nut and who loves Grand Theft Auto in the same sentence, who loves everything with 4 wheels or 2 wheels if you like. But other than that, please enjoy watching my videos. I'll see you guys in the next episode. This is What a Doozy 1929 here, signing off with the wonderful BF Surfer. Okay, I have 2 more comments and I really want to watch them. Make this more fun. Shoot people. Okay. Alright, you know what? I actually will do that, maybe. So, instead of, I like people giving me advice on what to do to make the show interesting. So, you know what? I might do something interesting with that other than just talk about cars. So, I might have just a section on its own, just randomly killing people or just trolling a lot of people. I really don't like trolling people, but I'm just randomly just screwing people over, because I love getting revenge. So when I ever get a chance to get revenge on somebody and completely murk them, I always try to get to record it or try to get it before it happens. But most of the times I end up missing that opportunity. So yeah, That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna make this interesting a bit, and I'm gonna start killing more people. I'm gonna start going on public lobby sessions and just start murking random people if I ever get a chance, or getting revenge on a lot of people. So this is What a Doozy 1929 here, or Alex signing off. Thank you for the advice.